Or live?
Live.
Hey, it's Chris, Homestead and Hardway. And we got a few emails about wanting to see our whole hog operation. We do a lot of videos to show little parts and pieces of it, but I don't know if we've done a walkthrough since we got the other half of it built and let everybody see it. Now, we're going to be walking around and showing this to you, so the camera's going to be bouncing and stuff. I don't know what we can do about that. We might cut it off and then go to the next place to talk about it. If you saw our beginner's guide to hog pen video, you've already seen all of this, but we changed how we did things a little bit. And something else I want to tell you, this is just like it looks. We didn't go through and clean up everything and try to make it look all pristine. I want you to see what you're actually going to be dealing with. We use this for a boar pen. It's a 16 by 32 with 16 by 4 shelters. This shelter used to be, years ago, one of the shelters we built to do bottle calves in. It had stalls in it. But this is the oldest pen we have up here. This is where we used to top pigs out at. All this used to be down there behind that trailer. We use this for a boar pen. Now, do you want to cut it off and walk around, or do you want to? This is the load and chute and the ramp. We've talked about that a whole lot. It's a must-have. I don't care if you got one pig. It's a must-have. You got to have a way to load them. You got to have a way for them to get up in the trailer. And we're gonna come over here and show you the rest of it. Okay, these are fairing pins. We have 2 of them. Now, we have some videos on the shelters and the way they're made. But if she can do a little turnaround and show you, everything is self-contained. Now, something I want to tell you really quick.
This is the little pig. Where we
That's
wean
a
them.
nursery pen now. That's for, 8-week-old pigs until they're sold. They only stay in a few days. We will leave some in there till they weigh 50 pounds. There's only a couple of them. That's a small pen. It's 8 by 16 with a 4x8 shelter. But something I do want to tell you, you need enough pens where you can leave them vacant. You don't need pigs in these small pens all the time. They need to move around. But we've got everything set up where Sal has pigs in here. When we wean the pigs, I can put them over here. If not, we usually try to have people pick them up the week we wean them. I can take her from the farrowing house right to the boar pen. And then we'll go down here, we'll show you the sow lots. Darlene wanted me to show you the gates. I think if you've been watching the videos, you've seen them. But they're on springs. You don't have to worry about the kids forgetting to shut them or latch them shut. And I'll build a gate out of any piece of metal I can find. A couple of these are built out of old trampoline frames. Part of them are built out of old tobacco holster frames. Any piece, rebar, I'll build them out of it. Nice thing about the load and chutes is you can move your pigs around, no trouble. And it gives you a double fence system. So if they do get out, they're not out. They're just, this is another farrowing house. Got 2 of them. We're really set up to run 4 sows with 2 farrowing. And then we've got sow pens down here. This is housing for the sows. And we'll cut it off and show you the other stuff down here at the back. Now, alright, I'll let her turn around and show you that over there again from the other view. Now, that sow pen is 18 feet wide, I think, by 65 feet long. This pen here is a 30 by 50. I think that's right. Yeah, 30 by 50. Pen over here is 24 by 16. And it's supposed to be our boar pen. It's not finished. I need to put a hot wire around it about middle way of the fence because it's a boar. You need a pretty good fence for a boar. But that's why it's taller fence. and the posts are so close together. With a hog panel, if you're not going to put an electric wire inside of it, you need a post about every 4 foot. I got the hog panels without the electric wire the best of anything we've done. Now let me tell you, this one's done backwards, but it's done backwards for a reason. You heard me tell you in other videos, put the post on the outside, but this is for smaller pigs. It's for some breeding stock. And we came off of the loading chute and it just wouldn't have looked right done how you should do it. And there's not going to be any pigs in there big. It's too small of a pen to have a big hog in that can tear out. That's the reason that one's done backwards. But you are better off putting the post on the outside of the panel. The reason the post on the inside of this hog wire is the electric fence is really doing all the work here. The hog wire and everything is just to keep it from being able to run through the electric wire. But this is about a ½ acre, roughly. And the reason it's laid out the way it's laid out is she'll turn around and show you again, and I'll talk about it. Because I can't talk about it until she turns back around. You can't hear me. But that's the property line, right over here. And see, we've really got a 3-fence system in some places. We got a fence, electric fence all around all of it, in case something did get out. I haven't had a pig out in 5 or 6 or 7 years. I mean, we had one sow get out one time in probably the last 10 years. She tore through the back of the shelter, if that tells you anything. But all this is on maybe a touch over ½ acre. And it's laid out the way it's laid out because of the available space. Things have changed around here the last 10 years. Where we did have the hogs at got too wet, started flooding. We had to move them. This was the only place we had to move them to that was high and dry. There's no chance of flooding. And on this sandy land and everything, I don't know if you can tell or not, it's all on a hill. It all goes that way. We don't have any standing water. The only place we have any standing water is in that first pen. And honestly, that's because it's just had hogs in it so long. That pen's been there 20-some, 30 years maybe. It's always been a topping pen. Used to have, we top out a set and put another set right in it. I had them up here because I like feeding with a bucket. This is going to be a sow pen. I built it to be a topping pen, but we built it wrong. That feeder needs to be in a blocked off corner on a concrete slab. And if I'm going to keep selling any tops or raising any tops, I'm going to have to do it different. We're probably going to do away with the garden. If you've been watching this for a while, you know some of this stuff, but we're probably going to do away with the garden up here on this old sand hill. Because it's over there growing in grass now, but every year we tend that for a garden. This took up a part of it. It did come to right here, and then that took it up. But if I could have done anything I wanted to, I'd have built them side by side. I'd build a set of pins here and a set of pins here and a chute in the middle. The only problem with that is a long straight chute causes problems. Because if you got a row of pins and you got a long straight chute, you can't really move pigs by yourself. The way that one's set up with the crooks and the turns and everything, I can kind of stand a cutting board up at the right place and they'll just go right past it and go in the pen I want them to. I don't have a lot of help, so I have to set things up where I can do it by myself. But that's, you know, like I said, we're set up for 4 sows. And we don't shoot for 2 litters one year and 3 the next. We only try to have 2 litters a year. And the amount of time we give piglets before we wean them, that's about all we can do. We can't really get 3 litters this year and 2 next year. So you figure 4 sows is 8 litters of pigs a year. You know, that's somewhere in the 80 to 100 pig category. That's the size production we're at. And then you always got to remember you're going to have some breeding stock. We've got a boar and a gilt. That's my new boar. I'm so proud of our do-rock boar.
He's behind the barrel.
Oh, that's an idea for you too. If you, yeah, he's registered and from a long ways away. We could talk about her while we're right here. She's a lard type hog, a straight up lard type. And I know she looks like a Poland China, but she's not. Or a Gloucester, but she's not. She's everything in the world mixed together. But people like cover, and I have people that want guard type hogs. So we're gonna have one. We're gonna have her for a guard type sow, just to accommodate the folks that get pigs from me that want cover and want a lot of fat on a pig. Everything else we got are more lean. They're really a cross between a lard and bacon type, but they're a leaner hog. She's gonna be a kind of a fatty hog, and bred to that people be what you call a bacon type boar. But somebody docked his ears and clipped his tail to put him in the show, and I don't like that. But he's got a good bloodline, and I got him for. I paid a lot of money for him, but I didn't pay nowhere near for him what I would have if this stuff hadn't been going on, where they shut the shows down. But you know, remember, you're gonna have somewhere to put some breeding stocks. You're gonna have to raise your gilts. You're gonna have to, you know, you're better off to buy a grown boar, but I couldn't find a grown boar, so that's what I could get with the right bloodline. The bloodline was important. But you can do this on not that much land. You know, I watch a lot of other people's stuff on YouTube sometimes, and they want big pastures and this, that, and the other, but really and truly, that's not the fastest way to grow a pig out. Those have too much room. Now your sows and your boar, you can get in all the room you want. But your top hogs need to be a little tight. Pen half that size would be better for them. They just wouldn't get so muddy. You have to give them a little bit of room because they'll turn into a mess. But one thing I want to hit on right quick, and something I see people doing, is the worst possible thing you can do. The worst way you can try to raise hogs is a big pen with everything in it. And I don't hear many people touching on that. I see a lot of people trying to do it, but the absolute worst thing you can do is have a big pen with the sows and the boar and the piglets and your top hogs and your little boar and everything in the same pen. That's just the absolute worst way to do it. I see people trying to do it all the time.
Sorry about the jerk. The dog jumped on me.
You can't control your feed. You can't control who's breeding who. You can't control anything. You end up with a boar that weighs 900 pounds, sows that are starving to death because he's getting it all. You end up with one or two pigs getting a majority of the feed. You need your pigs sorted by size. You don't need too many to the pen. I'm not entirely convinced right now that 3 sows to these pens ain't too many. These pens are actually the same size, just shaped different. They're half a roll of wire each. But I'm still not convinced that I might only need 2 sows to the pen. Which if we continue to run 4 sows, that'll be ideal. But I was thinking about running 6. I was thinking about increasing to 6, give us 12 litters pigs litter every month. So we're trying to see if 3 will work. And over there it's not really, because my old Duroc sow, they're kind of beating up on her a little bit, and I don't like it. So we may go all the way to the road over here and add 2 more pens. I'm not sure where I'm gonna build a topping pen at. We're thinking about getting completely rid of the cows and may carry the hog pens that way. Maybe it'll help y'all out. I know a bunch of people asked about it and wanted to see it. I had a couple other things I wanted to cover. I'm not exactly sure what they were. I want you to look at those pigs though. If you go back and look at the videos, those pigs are growing.
They're a whole lot bigger than they look on camera.
Well, that's something else too that we've been trying to show people. Before you get into hog business, you need to realize just how big hogs are, how big grown hogs are.
They're a whole lot bigger than they look.
And me personally, I know some people like these other pigs, pigs, small breeds, but I won't have a pig that won't hit 250 pounds in 5 months. When they're 5 months old, if they can't weigh 250 pounds, the blood ain't there for me. We've showed her in several videos, talked about her a lot. There's a gilt over here in this pen, kind of my prize gilt. I know one other thing we're going to talk about before we get off here. Some people ask about her. If I'm not crazy, her birthday is coming up, and she'll be 6 months old. And she's 350 pounds. And she's been getting 5 pounds of feed a day. That's all she's ever got. 5 pounds of feed and a loaf of bread every once in a while, or maybe a little piece of bucket of soaked corn. 5 pounds a day. 350 pounds, 6 months. And that's what you call holding her back. We call that holding her back.
And she's a pet.
Well, she's friendly. I try to keep her breeding stock when you handle. I don't want crazy boars and crazy cows. But you might tell something else about them now.
They still don't look that big on camera.
Well, it's hard to tell if she's standing there with them. See, these pigs right here are twice as big as those pigs, but they don't look. And something else I want to talk about. A lot of people asked about pigs digging under the fence. That's the most they'll do. In a panel, they'll kind of stick their head under there and dig out, just be annoying. But they can't dig out enough to get out. Where you run into trouble is if you got pigs that size and then little pigs in the same pen. The 200-pound pig might dig out enough for a 30-pound pig to get out. But they can't ever get a hole big enough to get herself out of. She used to do it too when she was younger, but they won't get out. That's with a panel. Now with this hog wire is flexible. And they dig under it, they might crawl out. That's why you have to use the hot wire on that. And let's cover a feeder versus a bucket while we got everybody. Did I say that?
Feeder versus bucket.
We had some technical difficulties there, y'all. Anyway, let's cover a feeder versus a bucket while we're talking about hogs. Might as well try to cram everything in the video we can. These pigs are on a feeder. You've seen the other videos if you've been watching this. If you ain't, go back and watch them. They're on that feeder, but we give them some bread. I give them some corn, some what you call hog mash, fermented soaked corn. We give them a little bit of soaked corn. They get table scraps. The neighbors bring scraps up here and throw them. Because we're trying to feed these hogs out. Now, we're not trying to feed them out super fast. You want to go ahead and grow them out, but the kind of slower you grow them in a way, the better they are. Now, these pigs here, these three, are breeding stock. And that means I'm not trying to top them out. I'm not trying to get them as big as I can, as fast as I can, and get them ready to kill. I'm trying to get them where when I want them at about 400 pounds when they're a year old. I want to hold them back, especially like that boar. That boar's fixing to go on to die. Everything in these three pigs here don't get but 5 pounds a day. They get 2.5 pounds in the morning, 2.5 pounds in the evening. Occasionally I may give them a little bit of bread or a little bit of corn or some scraps or a pumpkin or a watermelon or something like that, but we're not trying to put weight on them as fast as possible. We're trying to grow them out slow, have them at breeding size at breeding age. This gilt's 6 months old. We're going to breed her by Christmas. You want a year-old Shaz pigs. The boar here, 6 months old, he ought to be big enough and ought to be old enough to breed. My old boar, I don't know if you saw him at the beginning of the video, that old spotted boar, he's not feeling good today for some reason. It got me worried. But he's way too big. The only thing he can breed is my oldest sows. And that's usually what ends the lifetime of your boar. How long you can use him is he just gets oversized. He only gets 2.5 pounds of feed a day. But maybe that'll help you out a little bit. Y'all know who you are that wanted to know, and I told you I'd do it. But maybe it'll help you out a little bit. And one of the reasons I wanted to show everybody is to show you that you can do it. I mean, we're actually turning the pigs into a business. You know, for years and years and years, we were commercial hog farmers. And then I kind of cut back to just raising pigs for me and my neighbors and my friends. Thus, everybody have killing pigs. And then I started raising some breeding stock for the folks that needed boars. We sold a bunch of boars for years. Then we got into show pigs and started winning some shows. And we finally got some notoriety. And we get a good price for our pigs. And I hate to use the word making money, but we're at least breaking even. It's not costing us anything to raise pigs. Profit, I'm not sure about profit, but at least you're at least breaking even. In most homestead stuff, as long as you can break even, you're probably doing pretty good. And we get our pork, you know. But you can do all this stuff. Just remember, you never plow a field but turn it over in your mind. Get on up and get after it. Get started on it. You can do it. And we need more people raising pigs. We need more small operations. Large commercial agriculture is under assault from all sides. The small family farms are about dead. The commercial farms are struggling. The big commercial outfits, because I don't know if y'all know this, not the way it works is a big commercial outfit goes on contract with some small family farm. And if something happens, it's a small family farm that goes under, not the big outfit. So when you sue the pig company, you ain't hurting them. You're hurting the little small mom and pop contract grower that's got their house tied up in the lawn with the hog farm. And they need to get away from that. They need to get away from that. But anyway, maybe it'll help you. Get up, go do it, get after it. And if you have a question, leave it in the comments. I appreciate it.